Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Circle of Peaceful Progress. And today we are going to be talking about something which is very important for all of us, and that is learning to communicate with care. Communication with care, right? Now, why do we say communication with care? There are many kinds of communication. We all know that. We have verbal communication, we have non-verbal communication. And sometimes we forget that the words that we speak have a lot of power, and some of them, either sentences or words just spoken, could be so destructive to either you or someone else. There are many instances in our lives when even a single word like no, said by somebody who means something special to you, whether it's a parent, a guardian, a teacher, a friend, or any other relationship, what happens that when you hear that word no, it hurts you. It creates some kind of energy block inside you, whether it is a trauma and whether it is a kind of, disassociation that you may create with the person, right? So, what happens? We need to understand that when we speak or when we communicate, all the words that we talk about, all the sentences, and when we are talking to the other person, the body language of that person, that is also communication. And the way they are responding to you, that is also communication, right? Even if they don't utter a word, is all part of something where when we increase our awareness, our consciousness, and our ability to feel and understand that these are all energies, right? And they can make or break a relationship, make or break even lives. Some people live with a trauma for life that my father said this to me, I can never forget it. And they keep holding that grudge, maybe judging, maybe, sort of, and having not so nice thoughts about the parents or in relationships. Egos come in because something was said, something was done. Maybe even the behavior, physical behavior of the person may not be something that is, conducive or helpful in a relationship. And that's where ego comes in. If he thinks, he can behave like this, why should I give in? Why should I talk to him? Or if a child is behaving badly, the parent sometimes decides to be very difficult. Now, I'm not saying the parent is correct. The reason is that sometimes when a child is trying to express itself, his level of language, his level of communication cannot be the same as yours, right? So if we are going to treat the child at the same level, what's going to happen? There are going to be more traumas in their lives. So it can damage you or it can damage anyone else who is associated with it. Correct? So why should we say that be very careful about your communication? What is it that is in your subconscious mind that can impact your life, your journey, your existence? Think about it. Because remember, what goes around ultimately comes around. So what you may have done or said to somebody, there is a possibility that someday, sometime in life, you may experience the same thing again. So it's very important to communicate with care. So we also hold secrets, right? We also have, we become very tight-lipped about situations. We don't want to talk about it. We just do not allow any words to come out of us, but then our body language is saying something very different. We are also maybe sometimes disrespectful of others. Why am I saying we? I'm saying it collectively for all of us. So please don't take it personally that I'm talking of just any of you, right? It's a general term I'm using for all of us. So we also become, maybe sometimes very casual in our conversation. A person is trying to express, say something to you, and your approach is casual. See what the impact it may have on that person, because we are operating at two different levels of consciousness, right? So all this makes a lot of difference. Then at the same time, when we, gossip, there's a tendency amongst us to gossip. There's a tendency amongst us to judge others. There's a tendency amongst us to, what should I say, blame others. So everything is about others. Is it? No. It is also about us. It is also about how we wish and want to be understood ourselves, because the power of the words and loose talk can lead to situations which can be detrimental and harm your whole life. You can raise your hands if you agree with me on this statement, or if you have any comments on this till now to share with me. Please do come forward. This is interactive. We'll do a recitation later on this. But if you feel that what I'm saying makes sense, let me know. Anybody? Yes, Krishna? Good. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I'll just see in the comments in case there is anything.
Yeah, Aarti, can I speak?
Of course you can.
Yeah.
Yes.
Aarti, this topic has been my bane. The foot
Okay.
and the mouth syndrome.
Okay.
And, you mean to say something and some words blurt out. The entire meaning changes. And as you said, people hold it against you.
Yeah.
Throughout your life, you got to hear you said this at that time.
Yeah.
And uh, being very mindful, also, I don't know, it just comes out.
Mm.
And I'm trying my level best, to keep confidences totally, not talk. But yes,
Yes.
I mean, I've been suffering from this syndrome, and believe me, uh, my sisters don't want to tell me anything now.
Right. Right. So you see, I mean, at least the good thing is that 1 minute, I'll just close the chat. Good thing that is there, Payal, that there is an awareness in you. There
Yes,
is an acceptance in you that yes, maybe it is my communication and the way I deal with them, talk to them, or behave with them that has impacted my relationship with my sisters, right?
yes.
Or in any other circumstances, as you say, it's been the bane of your life. So the
Hmm.
point is, if we are operating from a space of, let's say, righteousness, that whatever I say is correct,
Hmm.
whatever I do is the right thing, and you, what are we doing? Righteousness means we are judging others, right?
Hmm.
That they are not capable of doing something which you can do fully, perfectly, etc. So the moment we realize, or let's say, bring into our awareness. The good thing is, with radical consciousness, the openness of radical consciousness and the free flow of the radical consciousness has allowed all of us, yeah, radical has allowed us this openness to understand, accept, embrace so many things about our own selves which are not so nice, work on it, heal ourselves, and be able to heal, feel the shift in things around us, feel the changes that we can make to ourselves, which is going to, make things easier later. So the power of consciousness and the power of us to be able to deal with these things can only be done if we start understanding and sort of bringing into our space a few aspects which, if we start taking care of, I just have a few things that I have noted for myself, and I just felt that it's important that we share it with each other also. So the first thing is, speak from the heart. Now you might say that when you're in a business work or dealing with anyone else who is not part of your family, how can you speak from the heart? Yes, you can. But if when you speak from the heart, everything comes out very convincing, very open, and people have a tendency then to start trusting you. The biggest example is Aatmn in front of us. Even when she's teaching or guiding or conducting any workshop, anything, what do you see? Everything is literally flowing from not only her thoughts, but it is coming straight from the heart, from a state of pure love. So if we start practicing that, making it part of our system to speak from the heart, things can be very different. Yeah. Second, if we listen with empathy, any story, anybody telling us something, including, a little child comes to you and tells you that my finger is hurting. A lot of children do that. Little children, they'll come with you with their little finger saying that this is hurting. And if you engage them in a proper conversation and ask them what happened, how did it happen, etc., and show that concern, it doesn't have to be sympathy, which is driven by, oh my God, poor you, etc. No, you are engaging in a conversation with them. So what are we doing? We are building up a person with a personality, and we are building up a person who understands that dialogue matters, and I'm being heard. I am being heard, I'm being listened to, right? So all this makes a lot of difference. Then what else do we do? Use the words and language that connects with the people. Sometimes people like to throw big words around to show that, okay, we know more than you. And if you keep listening carefully, they might be using the same words anywhere and everywhere. And then people also start realizing that this person is making a fool of themselves, right? But when you speak the language of the person, what happens? They connect with you instantly. They connect with you in such a way that things become easy to engage in, share with, comprehend, understand, right? I said, learn to speak from the heart.
Yeah.
Everything that you do and say, let it come from a place of love, a place of anything and anybody. I'll give you an example. There's this vegetable seller who comes in front of our house every day to sell vegetables, right? Whenever I go out to buy the vegetables, I always greet him. I always say, Namaste, कैसे हैं आप? आज बहुत ठंड है, आपने चाय पी, आपको चाय चाहिए, something. I don't need to do all that. Now, what happens, I'm not doing it for any selfish reason. I just feel for him as a human being, that he comes in the bitter cold in winter, I'm talking, and he's there promptly at 8 o'clock for the whole locality to sell his vegetables, fresh ones. So, and sometimes I do offer him a cup of tea too. Now, what happens? That extra dhania that he will not give to anybody else, he gives me. So, what you give comes back to you. His way of, repaying that love and the communication that I do with him, it's not just verbal, it's genuine concern. So, what does he do? He will add that extra, coriander and chilies and give me extra every time. Even if I'm not in the house and anybody else from the house goes and asks for it, he will do it. He will add something extra, in terms of vegetables also, etc. He doesn't need to do it, but he does it. I'm just giving a very small example. So if you speak to everybody, even I'll give you an example also when I was working. And those days, the canteen boy, he used to make a special cup of tea for me, lemon tea, and I used to bring my own lemon from home. But he used to make lemon tea for me 3 times a day, and for the others, he would just serve the normal tea. Somebody else asked him that I'll bring my own lemon. Will you make my tea for me? He said no. And he said, why? He says, Hamari mercy. So the person came to me and said, please ask him to make lemon tea for me. I said, look, I can only request. It is up to him. It is his choice. I can't, because it's not part of the daily, his work. But then I went to him. I said, एक कप बनाने में क्या फर्क पड़ता है? बना दो. So he says, no, ma'am. You are the only person who treats us like a human being. You talk to us as a human, not as a servant, not as a peon in the office. आप हमारे लिए इतना करती हैं, that is more than enough for me. हम आपके लिए क्यों नहीं बना सकते चाय? Now, I'm giving you 2 very different examples just to say that coming from a space of respect, dignity, honor, love, any relationship, any situation can be salvaged. Can be, unless it is absolutely irreparable, things are not so bad, things can be salvaged. It happens in life. The second point that I said, Bina, was about listening with empathy. Not with sympathy and not with the kind of, righteousness, but with empathy. And also, if we learn to speak in the simplest language, instead of using high-end words, etc., that also makes a difference. Okay. We need to have a lot of compassion for people. Learn to have compassion. And that can only come when we ourselves are able to appreciate the compassion shown to us. It may be very simple forms, a very simple gesture, a very simple action, but then it helps, right? And at the same time, never forget to express gratitude. Today we are here, all of us. I'm grateful that this platform has been created, that I can connect to you, you can connect to me, we can exchange, topics and talk about things which may not be otherwise, in our daily routine. We're taking out that time to do it. And I'm grateful to the masters that they've chosen me as, a person to connect with you. It humbles me, that something is there that I can give, maybe, for all of us to share and be in the same energy field and be in the same consciousness. So at the same time, learn to be open, learn to express yourself, learn to express your feelings. It's very tough. We have a tendency to become absolutely closed, not talk about anything. But when you start expressing your feelings, things change. Because otherwise, a person may say that, oh, I thought that, how was I supposed to know that you wanted me to do this? How was I supposed to understand what you are saying unless you tell me? Haven't we heard this dialogue many times from a lot of people? Whether it is friends or work or home, anywhere. अरे तुमने बताया नहीं, अरे बताओगे नहीं तो कैसे पता लगेगा? All this is part of the same thing. Correct? So yes, express your feelings as much as you can. We also know where we have to apply our own, judgment in terms of whether we should talk that much or not. That is also coming from a space of wisdom. So that makes it different. But learn to express your feelings. Listen actively. When we say actively, it's not just hearing what they're saying. You need to understand that if somebody has reached out to you, understand their pain, listen to their voice, communicate with them in a way that they feel that, yes, they are being listened to. As practitioners, as healers, we are here not just to say, okay, fine, I'll do your healing. Listen actively. Those hidden, sort of tones that come out of a person convey a lot. We don't do it. We just maybe, okay, fine, I'll do the next reading for you and the next reading for you. No. Listen to what they're saying. Same thing you do with your children. Same thing you do when you're with your partner at work. How does it become a team at work? Only when you are listening actively to one another, right? Avoid judgments. Don't judge because you will be equally judged, and judgment invites being judged itself. So, as I said earlier, this feeling of righteousness that we may have, or this feeling of, criticizing or judging others, somewhere within us, something is missing, and that is why we are doing it. So, why do it? Everybody is coming from their own space and their own learning. Everyone is coming from their own experiences. If you have been placed together with somebody where you feel you are not, sort of clicking with each other at all, there may be reasons for it. Maybe the reasons are within you. Maybe it is something since your childhood that has affected you. Maybe there are some perceptions that you have grown up with. Maybe there is some past life karma or story behind it. It could be anything. There could be so many reasons, right? So, what is important? The important thing is if we decide to be non judgmental and view people from that filter instead of the filter of judgment, you will see there's a lot of change and a lot of feeling of being able to understand the other person. Okay? Then, what I would say finally is that ask questions, seek understanding, because it's never wrong, to show that kind of interest and, what should I call it, curiosity. In any field, whenever you're not sure, ask. You'll get some answers, even to your higher consciousness. When you go in that meditative space, concentrate, but with an easy flow, and ask and talk to your higher consciousness. You will get answers. So when we talk about communication, we are talking at every level of communication, whether it is spiritual, whether it is personal, whether it is business, or in relationships. But the important thing is we have to learn, as I said, speak from the heart with empathy, with compassion, with gratitude, and with expressing yourself and making it simpler for you to move forward in your cycle of life. So just for this, a very small recitation we will do today, because this is all about communicating with care. In the meantime, if you have any questions before we start the recitation, you can ask me right now. Anyone?
We are not supposed to make any judgment, right?
Yeah.
So I have a confusion here in the sense we are not making any judgment, but based on the things, the way the things are, or based on the way people are, or we are, it's bound to happen that we make certain judgments, right? So I need some clarity over here.
Yeah, so as humans, as individuals, naturally, we all come with our own stories. That right? Each one of us, even if we are living in a family, each one has their own story. Why do I say that? Because the soul has come down for its own experiences. Now, the experiences that are yours may not be the same of your, let's say, sibling or your parents, even though all of you are living under the same roof. For one common situation, if something has happened, everybody's reaction will be different. Why? Because they are operating from their learning, their wisdom, their understanding, or their experiences which they have had till the now. Now means at that particular time, till that point, right? So, because of that, we have a tendency, and we are, as we say, we are humans. That is why why are we here? When I say we, here means on this planet Earth, to learn to get rid of all that is not beneficial or resonating with us. If there is a tendency in us to judge, remember that is happening because you may be judging others. So the energy of judging is all around you. So what are we trying to do? Trying to learn, empower ourselves to be non-judgmental. And being non-judgmental takes a lot of work. It allows you, or rather it wants from you, that effort to let go of all expectations, all those reasons where you are feeling either victimized or criticized or judged, etc. Because you are doing the same thing to somebody else. So when you let go of all this and learn to be non-judgmental and detached, again, Meena, this is not overnight. All this will take a lot of time. But then, for us, it's like, if this is happening, that's also okay. If that is happening, that's also okay. The point is, you should know where to draw the line in terms of this far, no further. Because that is how you learn to maintain your own dignity, your own honor, your own respect, and your own value, self-worth, self-belief, self-confidence. Everything comes from that. So once you have all that in control, when I say control means in your sphere, in your space, in your aura, then life becomes easier to live and to do things that are needed for that time. Yeah? Bina, I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah, Arati. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Okay. Anybody else? Any questions? All right. So let's try and understand how we can communicate with care with this little recitation today. Close your eyes. Take deep breaths through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in all the positivity and breathe out all that is negative or does not resonate with you. Breathe in, breathe out. Return to normal breathing. Invoke your healing masters, healing guides, healing angels, your higher consciousness, radical consciousness, prosperity consciousness, love consciousness, your teachers, mentors, gurus, and guides. Seek their blessings, seek their guidance, seek their partnership to help you progress in life, learning how to communicate with care in such a way that life becomes easy, effortless, and a lot of fun as you continue your journey to connect to the prime resource energy. Take a deep breath to collect all your thoughts and energies wherever they are in the universe. And when you feel a sense of completion, recite with me, with soul's love, I transform and transcend my need to communicate with care. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my need to communicate with care. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my need to communicate with care. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my need to communicate and maintain confidentiality. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my need to communicate and maintain confidentiality. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my need to communicate and maintain confidentiality. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my need to prove my worthiness by commenting carelessly. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my need to prove my worthiness by commenting carelessly. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my need to communicate and maintain, With soul's love, I need to prove my worthiness by commenting carelessly. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my need to prove my worthiness by commenting carelessly. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my guilt for breaking the trust. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my guilt for breaking the trust. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my guilt for breaking the trust. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my fear of being targeted for my need to communicate with care. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my fear of being targeted for my need to communicate with care. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my fear of being targeted for my need to communicate with care. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my compulsive need to gossip or make loose comments. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my compulsive need to gossip or make loose comments. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my need to gossip or make loose comments. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my fear of rejection due to my careless communication. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my fear of rejection due to my careless communication. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my fear of rejection due to my careless communication. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my need to practice compassion. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my need to practice compassion. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my need to speak from the heart. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my need to speak from the heart. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my need to speak from the heart. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my need to express gratitude. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my need to express gratitude. With soul's love, I transform and transcend my need to express gratitude. I awaken compassion and love. I awaken compassion and love within me. I awaken compassion and love within me. I awaken the compassionate and loving me. I awaken the compassionate and loving me. I awaken the compassionate and loving me. I peacefully progress in my relationships with compassion and care. I peacefully progress in my relationships with compassion and care. Last time, I peacefully progress in my relationships with compassion and care. Take 3 deep breaths to absorb all these messages deep within you. Let them fill up your mind, body, and soul. And when you feel a sense of fulfillment, you can open your eyes. Anybody having any questions? Anything that you'd like to say or add?
I do have one question, Arti. Bina again.
Yes, Bina.
On what topic is this?
The topic was written in the, form that, notice that is sent in the group, but it is compassion with care. Learning to be compassionate with care. FC42 chakra.
Learning to be compassionate with care with ourselves and others.
Yes, communicating with care with ourselves and others. Communicating with compassion and care with ourselves and others.
Okay.
Yeah? You have any questions, any doubts, you can ask me.
Yeah, Aarti, like say, we say that words are temporary. Words disappear into thin air.
Yeah.
I just want to know what is the impact of, say, of words, people say that don't say this, we tend to say, use the curse or do all that. Does it really affect, how does it affect you at your chakra level? How does it affect, um, us in any energetically also?
Yeah. I'll give you a very simple example. Sometimes, you may have, as you were growing up, heard from your parents, जब तुम्हारे साथ होगा ना तब पता लगेगा,
अरे बहुत सुना.
है ना?
Yeah.
Or when you become a mother or when
Yeah.
you become parents, only then you will understand what we were trying to say, right? Or you think life is so simple, देखना तुम्हारी life भी बहुत difficult होगी. Now, simple statements, right? And you must have said, let it be, let them say what they want. But without realizing, those are curses that have been passed on to us. These are what? The universe, that gives energy. Everything around us is energy. Okay? Words are energy. They stay in your field, your energetic field. And sometimes I have I know of a case of a person that he was, this is a story well known, pass out from, from IIT and then from IIM, Ahmedabad. He could have got a fantastic job anywhere, but he would always get middle management work. And that was frustrating him, as to why is this happening to me? So in the course of healing, it came out that he's from a family of, Brahmins, all right? And his family traditionally have been pandits and acharyas in temples. Many centuries ago, maybe 3 or 4 generations, not centuries, the head priest of that temple had said that I vow today to you, to the god or goddess, whoever it was, that the firstborn of my family will always be in service of you. Right? It's a beautiful statement. लोगों ने सुना होगा, बड़ा अच्छा लगा होगा. But as generations passed, yes, every firstborn was the pandit of that temple. This fellow, being the firstborn, decided to work and take a job. And it was not happening. He was not getting anything that would suit him. So a vow taken by somebody energetically so many generations ago was still impacting the family tree. The generation, it was passing down, and he was the eldest. And how can he break it? It's a vow that has been taken. So simple things we don't realize that, like sometimes a girl decides to get married. I mean, why girl? A couple decides to get married on their own without parents' consent. And one of the parents said, देखना तुम्हारी शादी कभी successful नहीं होगी. Out of anger. They don't mean harm that way, but maybe out of anger. And what happens? Many a times you've heard of divorces happening, right?
Yeah.
The point is, anything that we utter, the power of those words stay in the universe. This whole universe that is around us is a whole, a collection of so many statements, so many words, so many things that have been said across time immemorial and as of today. So the more you say it, the more you curse, the more you take vows, the more you make promises which you can never keep. I mean, it's a big joke not joke, but we laugh about it, that if you say, I will always love you, I will never leave you, what are you doing? You are becoming a stalker through generations. In this life, fine, I will always love you, I will never leave you. Always, never, ever. These words you have to use very carefully. When you say you never leave you, fine, in this life you couldn't get married, or maybe you did get married, and मैं 7 जन्म तक तुम्हारे साथ रहूंगा या रहूंगी, whatever. So in next life, I'm just making it lighter for all of you. Next life, the possibility is that he may come as your stalker. छोड़ेगा ही नहीं पीछा तुम्हारा. Making it light, but yes, point is that never, ever, always. These 3 words are very powerful too, and we have to be cautious how to use it. So it's important that we are, aware of it, not to use certain words which are very strong and very powerful. So when we communicate also, we have to keep in consideration who or what and when are we talking. What are we saying? Why are we saying it? How should we say it? Because when you communicate with care, you are creating a circle of hopefulness, help, gratitude, love, happiness, and joy. Right?
Yeah, and how do you stop? I'm trying my level best at trying to stop cursing while driving, They go mad if people are overtaking you from here and there. And something does come out of your mouth. It's crazy, especially the bikers and when they're cutting from the left, overtaking you from the left and cutting through.
So the
Yeah.
more you try to resist it and say that it should not, the more it will happen to you because you are inviting it in your space. Just
Mm-hmm.
say we get chill, you chill, I chill, we all chill, and then see how things become different for you because
Mm-hmm.
you are putting so much of your own energy into it. I'm sure, I'm just assuming, please, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Whenever you're getting out on the road in the car, you say, Aaj kuch na kuch zarur hoga. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah. In a way, I hope I just reach that there.
So, what are
Mm.
we doing? We are opening our aura, we are opening everything so that magnetically we will invite situations where things will happen.
Mm-mm.
Get it?
Mm-hmm.
So, change it, flip it. Think of something else that you should say when you leave home.
Mm.
I
No,
won't
no.
suggest it
I mean,
because
how should I control when I get angry at somebody, for their
so
stupid
first
driving?
you have to work on your anger.
Mm-hmm.
You have to work on your anger
Mm-hmm.
and heal your anger first because anger is one of those very dark, deep energies. So it's not just anger about the cyclist or the people on the road. Anger per se is a very deep energy, and you need to work on that first and let it go. Surrender it. It'll take a lot of working in terms of how much you are ready to let go of it and how soon you can get out of it. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, all of you. It was lovely talking to all of you and see you again next Friday. Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you, Arti.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Yes,
Thank
Sri Kumar, you want to say
Hi,
something?
hi, Auntie. Good to see you
Hi.
again.
Good to
How are
see you
you?
too. I'm very well. Thank you. How about you?
I just saw the evening your invite in the Circle of Progress
Right.
group.
Right.
So I was free after the office and I just jump in call. Yeah,
Excellent. You
good
can
to
join
hear the
every Friday.
class.
You
Yeah,
can join.
possible days. All these words are very conscious words, and then compassionate, love, care. It makes sense, Auntie ji. Thank you so much. Kind of you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you, Sri Kumar, for coming. And do keep coming every Friday. We have lots of fun over here. Yeah?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Bye bye. Bye bye.